Hello, everybody. I'm Peter Grant with Zaner Metals in Denver. The guy in the LaSalle Street Canyon next to me
Absolutely.
is Peter Thomas. How are you?
Standing in front of the Chicago Board of Trade. And for all you Jeopardy fans, if you look up at the top of the building, you will see the god of Ceres. The goddess is the tallest freestanding aluminum cast statue in the world. Very interesting.
Fun facts. You
Fun
are the
facts
man.
for old members.
Yeah. We we had an interesting week last week, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Lots of
and
action.
and as we record this, the winner of the race for president hasn't been declared yet,
That's
so
true. Yeah.
we're not gonna dwell on that
There's no reason to.
yeah.
We have nothing to hang our hat on until this is
But I'll
done.
tell
It's done.
you, the metals had a really good week.
Yeah.
Gold. Let's start out with gold. Gold was up a little bit over 4%. Hit a 7-week high of 1960.33.
Yep.
About halfway back from the decline off of the August high. Not quite, but about a 50% retracement so
Right.
far. Um, so all in all, as we were kind of bumping along the bottom of the range in recent weeks, and we had
Yeah.
mentioned the break of the 100-day moving
That's
average.
true. But just
Um,
briefly, right.
yeah, just
Right.
briefly,
Yep.
but we kind of remained generally positive. Just thinking that the underlying trend was still favorable and that the market was just looking for some resolution with
Well,
respect
and,
to
and, and
U.S.
we had a couple
elections.
of
And
events. 9 months of continuous adding into ETFs. I think that's a record.
right, that we continue to see very strong flows. I mean, they slowed down a little bit
Yep.
this past week, but still inflows. And again, I think that's reflected in the higher prices that, I mean, we saw sharply higher prices on Thursday. The Fed maintaining a dovish. So on the heels of the Bank of England announcing a boost to QE, the Fed, um, held steady. They sort of maintaining a pretty dovish stance,
Yes. Right.
given what they quoted as considerable risk to the economy, even though we are in the process of recovering. The question is, with the new onslaught of COVID, can we kind of sustain that recovery, or do we
It's a
double
very good
dip
point, and
recession?
I'm glad you brought it up. We don't. I mean, the numbers just keep going up, and no one can figure out why. And is this a mutant, or is it the same COVID? We're not seeing what we need to see from the CDC right now. And I'd like to get some real numbers. I talked to the head of Cambridge University Wednesday and asked him, were we seeing a type 2? And he said no. His research is saying that we're still bumping along with the same one. So, I mean, he's the guy. But so let's just say it's just another outbreak, and maybe we took our masks off too soon. Who knows, right?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly hadn't noticed that. Nobody in Denver, anyways, was taking the mask off, but. They seem our governor and the mayor of Denver seem very reluctant to call for another lockdown. They're just asking
Interesting.
that
Yeah,
people stay at home if they can. And
it's
um,
been hard, man. It has been
yeah,
hard. But hey, while we're here, shout out to Rio Tinto and our friends at Anheuser-Busch. This is very interesting. They are combining to come together to create a beer can that has 30% less carbon, which means they're going to reduce the emissions because carbon is really where your pollution comes from in the creation of aluminum cans. They're going to reduce the emissions by 30%. And projections right now are for 70% recycled cans to be used. So, in effect, with the recycled cans and then bringing the recycled cans up to the low carbon stats, I think that people should start drinking more beer. It's going to be good for the planet.
I'm in.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Bottom line, gold market looks pretty good at this point, and
it does.
I think there's probably additional room for retracement here, and particularly if we get above that 50% retracement level. which is 1967.43 is the level that I'm watching on the upside. If we break above
Okay.
that, I think
Teach
that
and
there's,
technical work is great,
yeah,
even during an election. Okay.
right, right.
Yeah. But tell me
Let's
about silver. It was a monster.
Yeah, silver was a monster. You're right.
Yeah.
Up 8.6% last week.
Oh,
6-week high of
yeah.
25.84. It has retraced 50% of the decline off the August high. So that level was 25.74. So we have slightly exceeded it by a dime. Market looks pretty good. I like that the ratio was on gold silver ratio was unable to sustain gains above 80. We're trading back around 76 now on the ratio. So
Right.
that makes me feel pretty good about silver and gold as well, for that matter.
Well, I'll tell you something. Coin demand was up 65% as far as sales, and it was led by Germany and America. Have been the two key buyers, and I will tell you that Director Ryder, in the middle of this COVID, with a skeleton staff under a tremendous amount of pressure, is doing a terrific job. Thank you, because that's how we make our living, is with the coins that you produce. We really appreciate you guys standing fast. U.S. Mint has a great history. I remember Peter Moy, and when the Pentagon was attacked, he stood fast his ground and got all of his employees out of the Mint building him and directed everyone. The Mint has a great history of standing tall in tough times, and we appreciate what you guys are doing.
Yeah. Again, no slight on the U.S. Mint. This is a website problem. When people were trying to buy the 75th anniversary of the end of the World War II
Oh, that was
proofs
the new series, right? Right.
yesterday,
Yeah, it
people
was
had all
yesterday.
kinds of problems getting on, including me. I would have loved a gold coin and a silver coin, but I couldn't get through. But much moaning about the inability to. There was only 1,945 gold coins, so they disappeared in seconds,
Oh,
minutes.
yeah. Well, that's the thing, is that, I mean, when I was talking with Mr. Ryder at the release of his last, the 2 ounce coin, he and I were together at breakfast, and he said we expect him to go today. And I asked him, I said, why don't you make a few more? He says, we have a set pace, we put them out there and we break the mold. And so they makes them very collectible. And you know what? It's worked very well for them. So
Yeah,
it's unfortunate that they had
they'll be
a
going
technical
for
glitch.
high premiums
Oh
pretty
yeah,
quickly here
yeah. That
in
that
the
that. And you know what? All of our collectors, you just got an opportunity here, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
indeed. Platinum, it had a great week. It was up over 5%, but $900 seems to be a problem. Just
Well,
cannot sustain gains
PGM,
above 900.
the PGMs, platinum, palladium. First off, guys, we like to educate. So we're going to give you a new word, and I want you to stay with me. It's called PEM. That's the abbreviation for proton exchange membrane. All right. Primarily, in order to strip, lyse, break down water to get hydrogen and oxygen off of it, it has to go through this membrane. That membrane was uses iridium, but now we're going to be able to use platinum, and there isn't a lot of it around. We believe that the supply is constrained just due to electrical breakdowns, power shortages, power outages in South Africa, the fact that winter is coming into Siberia. We're going to see less product around. And price wise, I still think it's too low. I know Pete's saying it's got to break out of that level, and he's right. Technically, it
Yeah.
does. But I think it's a steal anytime you can buy it on dips. I think demand is going to stay strong. I think there's a price mismatch between palladium and platinum. And I'm telling you something, Anglo America, which is a producer, just shut down yet, and they are closed. So we have demand, constraint, and less production, and we have a new player on the block, right? and there'll be a quiz later on your PEMs. So we'll talk about that later. But
Yeah.
look for platinum to the future, 1, 2 years down the line. As Pete and I always tell you, buy dips and hold for the long period, especially IRAs, 401ks. These could prove to be very good returns if these new technologies come on board.
Yep. So Palladium was the star of the week,
It
uh,
was.
up
Yeah.
almost 13%,
Yeah.
8-month high of 2504. You recall that we've been talking about 2580 on the upside as an
I
objective.
do that.
We
Quite a while ago, you came up with that number,
Yeah, so we'll
actually.
call
So I'm
that
glad you
within
reminded
striking
us.
distance.
Yep.
So where that objective comes from, it's a 78.6% Fibonacci number,
It's a fib. Okay.
78.6%
Gotcha.
retracement of the big COVID sell-off, and that is within striking distance. I think a lot of the impetus to the upside has been, still robust and truck sales.
Yeah,
Um,
surprisingly so.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
They were in
October,
line, right?
in line with expectations. So
Right.
2.9 million
Okay.
cars in October,
Gotcha.
9.8 million light trucks. So
Interesting.
solid numbers, and that
Yeah.
was off like 0.5% from September, but
Minuscule.
still very
Considering
solid
we have
numbers.
COVID going on and everything else, I think that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that it's hanging in there even
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
rise of COVID cases is pretty encouraging, and I think
And it's interesting that you
Palladium.
bring up a long deceased Italian philosopher and mathematician who created the Fibonacci system. I mean,
He's
he
my
has been
guy,
long gone, baby, you know?
but his theories hold true.
Yeah, no argument. In
Yeah,
metals, Fibonacci numbers work, if you guys are wondering. They really do. They're worth
yeah,
looking at.
yeah. So we'll continue to keep a close eye on auto sales and so forth with regard
And
to
the
Palladium.
underlying, we're seeing nice demand for the first time in a while in steel, iron, and nickel. So
Yeah,
uh, commodities have on the metal side have been red hot, and Pete, China has stopped buying copper from Australia. They just cut them off. So we're going to see they got to go somewhere, and we're going to, and we're still seeing problems in production in Chile, Peru, Mexico. All of them are their miners are saying it's COVID. We don't know how if we want to be in these mines now. So
yeah.
copper has been very strong. And what do the numbers look like for us?
Yeah, so copper was up 3.2% last week.
Big number.
What I really liked is that during this little corrective phase, it
Yeah.
held above $3.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I
We
thought
talked
that was
about that.
very,
Yeah.
very encouraging.
Very encouraging.
Um, the high of the move so far was set 3 weeks ago now. 321.62 is the high from the
Okay.
21st of October. That's the level we'll watch on the upside for
Yep.
upside continuation.
I follow you.
And in this one, we talked about the 330
Well, you
level
called that last year. I mean,
as a
that's
likely
been
upside
that's what we've been
objective.
looking for from the $2 area, and we think that maybe our scrappers should think about calling in and getting a little bit of a plan laid out if we get another sharp rally up in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that market still looks very healthy. Overall, economic numbers last week were generally positive. Manufacturing PMI and ISM were a beat. Factory orders came in better than expected.
Surprised
Construction
everybody.
spending was a little bit off the mark, only came in at plus 0.3 on expectations of plus 0.9.
9, right?
But on Friday, another good jobs number. And non-farm payrolls, 638,000. Expectations were plus 588. We saw an upward revision
Yeah.
um, to September,
Right.
672,000. Again, most importantly, the unemployment rate dropped to 6.9%.
That's a good number.
That's a full percentage
That's
point
a
from
good number.
September.
Yeah.
So September was 7.9%. The expectations for October were 7.6%. We came in at 6.9%. So
When you consider all the shutdowns in California, Illinois, Philly, New York, all those states are pretty much closed down. Everyone else is really picking up the banner here, It's really
yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
So again, there's reason to be encouraged, even as the COVID cases are back on the upswing, and some places they're hitting levels that the record highs basically in terms of uh, cases and hospitalizations. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that, and we'll continue to try and be optimistic. Um, this week, CPI and PPI are the two big ones, and we're not anticipating any big uptick in inflation. 0.1 in CPI and plus 0.2 in PPI is what the market's expecting.
Inflation's
So,
a number we got to watch, and it looks like the chief said he doesn't think it's going to have any effect. So, as long as the Fed's happy, I guess we're happy, right?
well, they're going to continue to try and stoke inflation, but they're not having a particularly good time of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's good for gold. We like it. Keep it up.
Yeah, that helps.
Yep.
So, with that, my friend,
Yes, sir.
you have yourself a great trading week.
Hey, you too. You too. And I think it's going to be another wild week. I think everyone can expect big swings. Be really careful. Stops make you money. You know, don't stay overexposed to this stuff. We're not going to tell you where to get in and get out. We're just telling you to, exercise a little extra caution when you see $1.30 swings in gold interday, in silver interday. I mean, that's pretty scary.
Yeah,
So
uh, darn near 50
be
bucks in
careful.
gold.
Yeah,
So,
I feel
well,
like
that
the guy from Hill Street Blues. Be careful out there.
yeah, be careful out there.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hey, I'm Peter Grant with Zaner Metals in Denver. Make it a great week.
Pete Thomas, take care now.